on a more serious note, I'll do my best. However, to speak for so many principals who would represent 90 years of school history is very daunting. As Shauna McKenna wrote in her 1975 valedictory address, I must represent each one with a single and yet inadequate voice. And that's what I have to do today. But first, I'd like to pay tribute to Fort Credit's first three principals who aren't here today. Mr. Henry Duke, who spent 30 years, from 1919 actually, to 1950, at Fort Credit Secondary School. Actually, in those days, I think it was a continuation school and then the high school. Are there any here from Mr. Duke's years? Could you put your hands up? I think it was good. I wonder, is Bill Lawrence here? Bill, have you got your dad? Sure. Now, this is going to take a bit of time, and it's out of my speech, so you don't count this, okay, Peter? Would you bring your dad to the front? I think the people should understand what's happening here. I was talking to Bill, one of the students at my time, and he said his dad is now 98. He was... And I said, what a nice tribute if he would come today. And I welcome you, Mr. Lawrence. You want to say a word, Bill? It'd be kind of nice if you would.
Whenever I say a word, I start choking up.
I just did that.
Perhaps I can speak briefly on behalf of my father. He attended the school in 1925, where it was, as Mr. Brown said, it was not known as Fort Credit Secondary in those days. And the closest continuation school beyond Fort Credit at the time was Parkdale, all the way in Toronto. So this was really kind of an isolated outpost at the time. But I don't know if there's anyone else around who's been associated with Fort Credit longer than my father. Is anyone here older than 98?
I think he's a number one. Thank you very much. And then Mr. Wood, a revered and loved teacher and principal of Fort Credit Secondary School, principal, I guess, at Graydon, the open Graydon, I respected, and tried to follow his example, especially with knowing every student. You can't do it, but you try. And finally, Mr. Ed Scratch, who really was, I think, seen by the students as a very shy and reserved man. But boy, I'll tell you, he was efficient, and he was so calm. I only worked for him for a year before I took over here, came here, and I learned so much. Imagine, 46 years and only 3 school principals. Worth an applause. The following remarks, I trust, will apply to all of us who came after. One thing for sure, we all were fortunate to be principals of this school. As I sat down many miles away in Vancouver to make a few notes, I came across a quotation that I thought would represent each principal's thoughts. The quote is from a speech given by Bridget Harrison. And I'm staying a teacher here, a principal in Mississauga schools. Sadly, Bridget passed away 2 weeks ago. I'm sure she'll live on in the hearts of those of us who knew her. That's a tough part of the speech. However, the quotation, I am a part of all that I have met, applies not only to the principals, but to all who have walked the halls of Fort Credit Secondary School. here in this building and in the two schools on Forest Avenue. For each one of us, student, staff member, or principal, Fort Credit Secondary School has been a significant part of our past and will remain so in our future. As this last quotation, Peter, this is the end, taken from a previous yearbook of my time, I thought it really applied to today, probably forever. Let today embrace the past with remembrance and the future with longing. I thought that was pretty good. In closing, enjoy this precious time with your Fort Credit friends, and on behalf of all the principals, I wish you all the best in years ahead, and hope to see you in 2020. All right.